I don't think Sailor Peace is dead, but I do think the game is slowly losing what made it special in the first place. Before anybody gets mad, this isn't hate. I've spent a lot of time playing this game, and some of my best Roblox memories came from it. But recently, every time I join, it feels less like a game and more like something running in the background. Most players aren't actually playing anymore. They log in, start a macro, leave their computer running, and come back later. And that's where the biggest problem starts. The game almost encourages people not to play. Think about it. Why would someone spend hours actively grinding when they can get nearly the same progress by being AFK? Why learn boss mechanics when a macro can do most of the work? A lot of the satisfaction that came from progression is gone. Back then, getting something rare felt exciting because you earned it yourself. Now it feels like you're just waiting for a timer to finish. When Sailor Peace first launched, things felt different. The game had flaws, sure, but it was fun. Even the artifact system, which was mostly AFK, felt unique because nobody had really seen something like that in a Peace game before. As updates kept coming out, we got races, ascensions, weapons, specs, skill trees, and a bunch of cool looking content. The developers clearly improved the visual quality of the game, and that's something I think most players would agree on. But after a while, a pattern started showing up. New update, new spec, new boss, bigger numbers, longer grind. Repeat. The content itself wasn't always bad, but it started feeling familiar. Instead of introducing completely new ways to play, most updates followed the same formula. Players would rush the new content, find the most efficient AFK method, and then leave their characters farming for hours. It became less about the journey and more about reaching the reward as fast as possible. The damage scaling made things even worse. At one point, doing millions of damage felt insane. Then it became billions, then trillions. Every update pushed the numbers higher and higher. The problem is that once damage reaches those levels, bosses have to become ridiculously tanky just to survive. Instead of fights becoming more challenging, they just become longer. You're not learning mechanics or improving your skills. You're simply trying to get a bigger number than before. Another thing I hear people complain about all the time is the visual effects. Don't get me wrong, the VFX artists are incredibly talented and some of the moves look amazing. But sometimes there is so much happening on screen that you can't even tell what's going on anymore. The entire map becomes covered in giant explosions, flashes, and particles. Everything starts looking the same. At some point, more effects stop making abilities look cooler and just make the game harder to read. Even with all these issues, I don't think Sailor Peace is beyond saving. The game still pulls huge numbers whenever an update drops. People still get excited for new specs, new races, and new content. The foundation is still strong. That's why so many players are frustrated in the first place. They know how good the game can be. Nobody complains this much about a game they don't care about. The reason people are speaking up is because they want the game to be better. Personally, I think the game needs more systems that encourage active gameplay. Things like proper PvP, faction wars, crew battles, better raids, ship content, sea exploration, and events that require players to actually participate. Right now, too much of the progression happens while you're not even looking at your screen. A game should reward people for playing it, not for leaving their computer on overnight. That's the biggest issue I think the developers need to address. At the end of the day, this is just my opinion. You might completely disagree with me, and that's fine. I still want Sailor Peace to succeed, because it's one of the most influential Peace games Roblox has ever had. But if future updates keep relying on bigger damage numbers, longer AFK grinds, and the same update formula, I think more players are going to lose interest. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you still enjoy Sailor Peace, or are you only playing out of habit now?